All right. Good morning, everyone. A little bit solemn and somber this morning. Yes, Patrick. The show has just started. We're just a couple minutes behind. Was just pulling together a couple last minute things. It's uh, it's Purple Heart Day. It's a hell of a thing that we have to. We're gonna have to talk about the shooting that happened at Fort Stewart yesterday. I don't know if you guys. I assume most of you guys have seen headlines, have seen some reporting that there was an active shooter at Fort Stewart yesterday. An active duty sergeant opened fire on his battle buddies. Uh, this is I don't know what's going through that sergeant's head. I don't know what broke him. Um, and I ain't gonna lie, I worry about my battle buddies. Mario will be with us in just a minute. I This is gonna be this might be a tough one this morning, guys. Uh, tell you a little something about soldiering. This piece right here. For those of you who don't know, I, I I did pretty okay back in the day doing competitive slam poetry, original poet. And I wrote for performance. This piece right here is entitled "It Is My Arm." This cumbersome steel across my chest that seems to mean a frightful thing. It is not the same burden that I bear. It is the rest of me. My rifle is my arm. Its cold my breath. Its scope the rest of my eye. Its report my voice made metal. Now, this next verse, not everyone who served has served in battle, has served in combat. And you guys are going to have to forgive me this morning for taking a few longer pauses for composure. Because not everybody came back. I've got some funny stories to tell you this morning. Hopefully, bring a little levity, you know, kind of come back around. But part of doing the job is dropping bodies. And you'll hear people talk about that sometimes. A lot of guys don't like to talk about it. But there's another part of the job, and that is not dropping bodies. By what I mean by that is sometimes part of the job is toting bodies. This broken body on my shoulder that seems to men a frightful thing. So there's a reason. Oh man. There's a reason I've never done this one on a stage. This broken body on my shoulder that seems to men a frightful thing. He is not some burden that I bear. He is the rest of me. He weighs nothing. He is the rest of me. Man, I may have committed an error grabbing this one this morning. My brother is my own body, his cold my sorrow, my eyes the record of his trial, his silence, my metal made solid. These bloody boots on which I tread, that seem to men a frightful thing, we are not some burden that they bear. They are the rest of me. Their leather steeped in my own blood is little more than my own skin, their warmth my comfort, their tread my grasp on the world, their print the mark of purchased liberty. Not everybody had to tote a body or drop a body.
Indeed. Yep.
The Purple Heart, we crack jokes about it. Mario, I'm sure you've heard. I'm sure you've heard the jokes. We jokingly refer to it as the Enemy Marksmanship Award.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that one.
And I saw Purple Hearts given away to people who probably shouldn't have gotten them downrange. But the Purple Heart is a big fucking deal. I don't have a Purple Heart. In theory, based on observed patterns, I should have two. I don't, for two reasons. So I saw some soldiers, like a fat chick who tripped over a pallet on a flight line, and literally tripped over a pallet on a flight line and skinned her knee. Was awarded a Purple Heart for being wounded in combat. And it literally skinned knee. Fat chick, pallet tripped, skinned knee. I heard a sergeant major one time jokingly tell our gunner when we were taking him on a convoy. He said, "Hey boy, if you smash your face into the back of that 50 the next time we go over a bump, I'll write you in for a Purple Heart." We all laughed. I think I've mentioned that on the show before, and I've said, I would absolutely smash my face into the back of the 50 for a Purple Heart because, that's money. But
you remember that fellow soldier student at DLI who had he arrived. He wasn't arriving straight out of basic training. He came there as a specialist already, E4, and he had a Purple Heart from a previous deployment, and then he got
Oh
then
yeah.
he got like a alcohol related incident. Something occurred, and he got demoted to PFC. And we joked about him basically being the highest decorated private in the United States Army. But no, the Army's pretty bad about that. Like other services, especially the Navy. The Navy's like they're really tight on their rewards. Okay, they don't hand them out very often. All right, you're lucky to get getting an RCOM. You gotta be significant to get an RCOM. Normally, it's just like a NAM, Navy Achievement Medal. AAM.
Right.
Is their usual end of tour award. But yeah, they call Army awards basically Skittles because we hand them out like the Skittles in the MREs. You know what I mean? You see E5s with like 4 racks. You know what I mean? 4 rows on their awards. But yeah, this
Yeah, I've seen AAMs awarded to soldiers for organizing the Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
Literally, that's not a hyperbolic euphemism. That's literally the case.
Yeah.
And like I said, there are 2 reasons that I don't have a Purple Heart. One, it's the nature of my mission downrange. A lot of what we did was so hush hush that a lot of higher ups just wouldn't risk acknowledging our presence.
It's a pain in the dick.
It really is.
Exactly.
It's the same reason it's the same reason I didn't make staff sergeant before I left. I could have been promoted downrange, but no, you're not here, son. I'm like, okay, fine, got it. But the other reason, in all fairness, is that both of my technically qualifying injuries were stupid. I got my hand closed I got this hand accidentally closed in the armored door of a MATV, which I've met 4 other. I've met 4 other people who have had that happen to them. I got mine more fully closed in the MATV than either of those other guys. I still have all my fingers and they don't. So
yeah,
those things eat hands. The other one, I was in a blackout site, and okay, so that means we turned off all the lights at night. And out there in the desert, there are no street lights. There's no house lights. You turn off all the lights. It is dark. Y'all don't know what dark is.
Yeah.
Until it's a new moon in the middle of nowhere. That y'all don't know what dark is. And there was a mortar attack. Well, it happened that when the mortar attack came out, I was hiding in a little cubby hole smoking a cigarette, and mortar came over the wall, and I turned around to grab my rifle, which was leaning up against the wall next to me. And this is when I was injured. Like I said, it was blackout conditions. I turned around to grab my rifle, and I took a tent stake to the shin, ripped the front of my leg wide open. Like, well, oh shit. And so there I was in PT shorts and flip-flops, climbing up over the wall to return fire. My leg bleeding down the back of the HESCO barrier. But you know what, Mario? You know what? You're gonna love this. I did not drop my cigarette.
Yep.
So that's one that I probably could have technically qualified. Or no, I definitely could have qualified for one there. But again, like I said, we weren't there, and both injuries were stupid.
Yep. And was your NCOER that year? Was it one of the ones where it was effectively blank, and the actual copy of it is in the records office? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I got one of those. All right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my NCOER that year included a mention of my covert alias having been included on the trophy that was awarded to the team that had the most capture kills for fiscal year 2010. Mm-hmm. Most capture kills fiscal year 2010 Afghanistan theater. We arrived in July.
In July?
We arrived in July of 2010. We got the most captures and kills for the entire fiscal year,
So in
which
3
ends
months,
in October.
you did.
In
You
3
did
months, we out-armied the
a
entire.
year's worth of kills in 3 months. Okay,
Yep.
that's pretty impressive. All right.
We spent the entire first month on Bagram putting equipment on our armored vehicles. Not a single kinetic action for the first 35 or 40 days. There was a very busy month and a half in there.
Riptoa is real.
Yes, it is.
All right. So did you talk about this miscreant soldier?
No, I started with talking about it being Purple Heart Day. We'll get to the miscreant soldier in just a minute.
There's a new development on him. So I got an extra piece of information.
Do you have an article to send me on that?
Yeah, sure.
So while you're sending that over,
by the way, guys, I just woke up, so just trying to function. Okay. All right.
So that's the Purple Heart. So you guys see it, know what it means when you see it. You'll see it on license plates often now. And understand that's what that means. You're talking about somebody. You're talking about somebody who was wounded in action. National Purple Heart Day is observed each year on August 7th, honoring those U.S. service members who have been wounded or killed while serving under enemy action. The origins of the Purple Heart Day trace back to August 7th, 1782, when General George Washington established the badge of military merit, the forerunner to the modern Purple Heart. Though awarded sparingly during the Revolutionary War, it symbolized Washington's intent to recognize valor and devotion among enlisted soldiers. And for those who were awarded the Purple Heart, you basically get fast-tracked through VA. Kids get to go to college. That's part of your VA benefits. Fast-track to 100% disability. Pitt Daney says, and we say, yes. Pitt Daney says, and we say earned, not won. I tend to say received. Earned doesn't quite feel like the right word either. Because the Purple Heart is not about. The Purple Heart is a medal that is not about your accomplishments or your achievements.
It's not the one you want, soldier.
Correct. We're not. Every other medal is about doing the right thing. The Purple Heart is about recognizing that, at the beginning of your contract, you wrote a blank check to the government for an amount up to and including your life. And the Purple Heart is awarded when you have to pay part of that. One of the worst things I've ever had to do after an indirect fire attack on a small outpost. I had to carry casualties to a helicopter, and that included picking up half a sergeant and going back for the rest of it, going back for his legs. It's
what happened? IED or indirect fire?
Indirect fire, 80mm recoilless rifle being used as a mortar.
Well, I'll do it.
The soldiers that got hit there got fucked up, but they survived. And the bitch of it was that the team that got hit, they were basically napping in their tent in the middle of the day because they were there had been an indirect fire attack a couple days earlier that had damaged some of the vehicles on that outpost. This was a team of mechanics that was sent out to repair those vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
They had finished their job and they were basically had a little time off to rest while they were waiting for the convoy to assemble, and they were supposed to be convoyed back to a larger fob later that day, and they got fucking hit.
Yep.
Round came straight in through the middle of their tent. It was actually the same tent I was staying in. I just didn't happen to be in the tent when the round hit. Well, bad day.
Yeah, that guy took a basically direct hit from it.
So it's interesting that it's Purple Heart Day today, and we're about to talk about this.
Oh, it is
this active shooter. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
That's because you're late. I said it all. Today, yes, today is Purple Heart Day, Mario.
Okay. I'm spun up now.
You know, just a second ago, Mario, I was reading that article about Purple Heart Day that began with Purple Heart Day is on August 7th. Today is August 7th.
I have been made less inadequate.
You have been re-adequated. But I'm going to make a couple of arguments today. The first one is that the 5 men wounded yesterday in this active shooter situation on base, I would say that they deserve they should be awarded Purple Hearts. Because
did anyone get any Purple Hearts when that the Muslim psychopathic army psychiatrist shot up the redeployment?
I always want to call him Hassan Piker, but his name was actually Hassan Nidal Hassan. Every time I think of that son of a bitch, I think, oh yeah, Doctor, Army Major Doctor Nidal Hassan Piker. No, it's Nidal Hassan. It's a different anti-American Muslim extremist. In fact, I would argue that. Actually, no. I was about to make a joke in absolutely poor taste, but then I realized Nidal Hassan is still alive, isn't
he? Yeah, he's in a Amex prison in Phoenix.
That's right. He's one of the rare active shooters that survives the incident. But I would make the argument that that these guys that were shot yesterday by this active shooter, they should be awarded the Purple Heart based on the oath. All enemies, foreign and domestic. And my friend, when you, as an active duty soldier or reservist, as a U.S. military member, when you turn your weapon on your battle buddies, on your brothers and sisters, you have become that enemy.
Yeah.
It's difficult to imagine a more complete and horrific betrayal.
The Army spends a significant amount of time attempting to teach soldiers about the concept of an insider threat. Okay, for matters such as OBSEC, right? But sometimes it actually means the physical security. Like it's there are more than traitors in the mist. There are murderers as well. And yeah, this guy. So I have a hint of a motive if you want to get into who this guy is.
Yeah, let's take a look at this article you sent over. Army sergeant shot 5 soldiers before he was tackled and arrested at Fort Stewart, officials say. A sergeant shot 5 soldiers Wednesday at one of the country's largest army bases before he was quickly tackled by other Fort Stewart troops, forcing a brief lockdown, officials said. Okay, Mario, before I get any further into this, and I haven't read this article yet. This is the one that you just shot me. Were these his soldiers?
That I don't know. Hold on. He opened fire and then he got rushed. Some soldiers ran, but some soldiers actually charged his ass and put him on the ground quick. Okay. But they were. It doesn't specify if they were his soldiers or not. Okay, but I mean,
because I tell you what, brother, I've had some soldiers. I had a soldier that wasn't there for PT one morning.
You shot him.
Didn't show up for PT one morning. We found him. We found him. But we spent that was the only mission for the rest of the day, was finding that soldier. I won't say his name on the air. I will say I've looked in on him a few times since then, and he's doing pretty good now. But he had gone and gotten a room, and he gone to downtown Waikiki and gotten a room at the freaking Halikoa, and we found him. We found him with a bunch of empty liquor bottles and pill bottles. He decided to check out, and that was one of my soldiers. We found him. We put him on watch. We took care of him. We brought him back around. He's a cop now, and like I said, I'm not going to give away any easy identifiers.
Pre or post deployment?
Pre.
Okay.
In fact, if I remember correctly, and I mean this was a while ago. This was 15, 16 years ago. He was not on tap for. He did not at the time have orders. He would have been on the next rotation.
Right.
But that was an uncertain future thing. I don't think he ever ended up deploying.
Yeah, wasn't your deployment like the last one that they did like that for that mission?
No. Ooh. I can't get into that. I almost said something. No, I can't say that.
Yeah, I've only seen one other soldier with the who had the turtle sandwich like you did for that particular unit and like that particular deployment. If you see one of those soldiers, then you know exactly.
Yeah.
You know exactly who was doing in stag operations. Yep.
That's just that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The turtle sandwich is a spooky motherfucker. Yeah. it's like the D&D trope of the ultimate tank. It's a dwarf with 2 tower shields.
Yep.
He just punches people with shields.
Definitely scarier than the angry strawberry sandwich found right next door to where you were.
Hey, don't get too down on the electric strawberry. I never fought with him, but I trained with him.
Yep. All right. So
I'm gonna drop an F-bomb telling a funny little story. We were training up for our deployment, and we were running, and I want to say it was Sergeant First Class, or no, I guess he was still a staff sergeant at the time, Seidel, and we were running. We were in PT uniforms, but we were wearing our body armor and carrying rubber ducks and running in PT uniforms. And we ran and we passed a platoon of your angry strawberries. Just passed them up as we were running, right? And we recognized them from being from that infantry unit. And as we ran by, Sergeant Seidel said, "Hey, infantry boys, you're not going to let yourselves get your asses beat by a bunch of MI faggots, are you?" Suddenly, they were trying to run faster.
Yeah, the infantry is highly susceptible to psyops.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, the individual involved in this shooting, he was not infantry. There's honor in the infantry. Okay, this guy is automated supply, automated logistics specialist. Okay, which means he's 92 series, right? And he's the guy who basically types in the Army's POS system, essentially. Okay, inventory system, right? That's what this guy was. So, but yeah, it wasn't specified if they were his soldiers or not. Okay, maybe all right. Bad joke, Chris. But
So he's a master at strategic asset relocation.
apparently. Um, if you shoot your own soldiers, does that qualify as a directive counseling, or is it?
I used to say I will employ any means necessary to complete the mission. Be that witchcraft, war crimes, or dimension lumber.
Lumber. Yep.
Wall-to-wall counseling with a 2x4.
Wall-to-wall counseling. I love that. Love that expression.
Yeah, wall-to-wall counseling or closed-door counseling. We were telling stories to the kids the other day about training and about soldiers having to do stupid stuff. And I think it was Mom telling us that her dad had a guy in basic with him that swatted a mosquito while they were standing in formation. So, you don't move. You're standing at attention. You're in formation. You're standing at attention. And he swatted a mosquito, and the drill sergeant noticed it, and he made him bury the mosquito, made him dig the mosquito a grave and bury it, right? And he had to dig a full-size grave and put the mosquito in it and bury it. And after he filled the hole back in, the drill sergeant asked him, was that a male or female mosquito? And the Marine did not know. He could not answer the question. And so the drill sergeant said, well, you better dig it up and check. Yeah. And then I was telling him about, you remember when I was the NCOIC for the barracks at DLI, I'd have to run the extra duties on Saturdays sometimes. And I'd have guys chipping the urinal deposits, the urea deposits off the bottom of the urinals with screwdrivers, flathead screwdrivers. I'd have them go through with Q-tips and clean the air vents.
The stupid environmentally friendly California urinals, the ones that use no water.
Yeah. Exactly. They were filthy. They were disgusting.
They're nasty.
They always smelled awful.
And the hair would pile up in them. Like it just
just awful.
Mm-hmm.
But so active shooter opens fire on soldiers on a base. Now, thankfully, we had some heroic soldiers with the wherewithal to employ some of their hand-to-hand training and subdue this NCO, which is good. It's a start. But this is not the first attack on active duty soldiers on what should have been a safe installation by an active shooter. And you know what? I don't care what your security protocols are. You cannot guarantee.
No, you can't.
You cannot guarantee it.
Yeah, there will always be people with access, okay, because they have a legitimate reason to be there, and you don't know their intent, so you could never really know. He didn't use his service weapon, okay, so
no, he brought a personally owned firearm.
Personally owned firearm. It wasn't nothing he chucked out of the armory, okay,
right.
So this was that, but yeah, this can't be prevented. Unfortunately, it cannot be prevented.
Well, yes and no. I mean, you can't stop a bad guy from getting his hands on a dangerous weapon. If a bad guy wants to do bad shit, the only solution is to kill him. And under the law, you can't kill him until he starts doing the bad shit. We don't endorse preemptive strikes on civilian targets. And one might even say unfortunately, because I can think of some options. But it has long aggravated me that our soldiers are not armed while in uniform, right? It is my opinion that the sidearm, the issued sidearm, should be a part of the standard uniform. If you are in uniform and you're not wearing your sidearm, you are not in uniform. And I don't care if you're an infantry soldier or a 92 Alpha, right? 11 bang bang, 35 Papa, 92 Alpha. I don't give a shit. 88 Mike, whatever. If you are in uniform, you are wearing your sidearm.
Yeah, I disagree.
I know you do.
I mean, I want to
And I want to have this argument.
I want to agree with you. Okay, but I don't think that we really are I don't think because we need to field a large army. Okay, because we are the global American empire, we are not as selective in screening for soldiers as we should be or could be. And it just some of the people in the army, sad to say, I would not trust them with a weapon. Okay, for potential ill intent, but also for just outright incompetence and stupidity. Okay, I would not trust them wandering around base with a weapon. I'm telling you,
I'll grant you that is a fair criticism of the current body of the military. I mean, I've got stories. I've got stories for days. I mean, you were in Iraq. How many times did an airman leave his rifle in the shitter?
We had one Navy cat do that. left the M16 in the shelter, the IDF shelter.
I walked up on a technical sergeant. That's an Air Force E6 at a table at the Green Beans Cafe, where, for starters, he shouldn't have fucking been doing this at the cafe to begin with. This is something that should have been done back at the Chew, or maybe at their talk, but it shouldn't have been done at the frickin' cafe on the boardwalk at Kandahar. But this tech sergeant was training a couple of airmen, A1Cs, Airman First Class, on the care and maintenance of their M4 rifles, and he was having trouble getting the bolt carrier back into the rifle after having disassembled it on the coffee table at the cafe. And I walked up, and, completely ignoring the fact that he outranked me, I was a sergeant. He was basically a staff sergeant, technical sergeant. And I walked up, and I was like, "Tech sergeant, let me help you out here. For starters, you need to take this shit somewhere else. This is not the place to do this. This is inappropriate. This is unprofessional. For two, if you can't put your fucking rifle back together, don't take it apart. Certainly not out in public." And the reason he couldn't get the bolt carrier back in is he had it backwards. And instead of recognizing that he had it backwards,
Jesus,
he was using what I caught him. He was using the buttstock to try and tap it in.
No. Yeah, I thought it was one of those things where he hadn't quite figured out how to finagle the charging rod. Okay, with the bolt.
Yeah, because you got to kind of get the charging rod to line up with the top, with the gas port at the top of the bolt. Yeah, that can be a little tricky the first couple times you try to do it. You got a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle thing going on there.
Correct.
But
a little puzzle to solve. Yeah.
But no, he had it backwards and was trying to tap it in with the buttstock. I'd actually pull out a tool. I'd pull out my multi-tool with the pliers and stick it into the ejection port and lever it to get the bolt loose and put it back together for this guy.
Oh, he had stuffed it real good. Yeah.
I had another one. This was a black female staff sergeant, 92 Alpha, on a qualification range. I was doing battalion qual range, and we get up there and she pulls the trigger and nothing happens, and I look down at her rifle. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Sergeant, your ammunition should face the enemy. She had her magazine in backwards.
How do you even? Is that possible? Apparently it is. Never tried it. You
She had stuck the magazine in backwards and then tapped the rifle on top. You know, like taken the rifle and tapped it with the magazine. Tapped it to get the magazine to stay in the rifle. Tapped it on top of the sandbag, and
yeah.
then she was laying on the prone position.
Have you ever seen a soldier forget to put the spring back in the buttstock, and then charge the rifle and send the bolt assembly straight into the
Yep.
and then you can't even open it? Then
Yep.
you really are like,
Yes.
first time I saw it, I'm like,
Sorry, soldier,
how,
you appear to have arrived in combat with a shake weight.
how is this even possible?
And so, to your point about there being incompetent people in the military, I agree. They exist. And there's a solution to that. That should be a chapter right there.
Yeah.
You put your bolt carrier in backwards. You can't operate your main battle rifle. You're out. Now, that said, we've talked many times here about about how I'm not a fan of women in the military. Let me qualify that a bit. I don't like women in combat operations, in combat arms.
No.
There is, however, I would argue, a place for women in administrative positions. Sure,
Yeah.
that's fine. Basic office jobs where, you know what, if you're 9 months pregnant, still on the job, and about to drop one and go on 6 weeks maternity leave, cool. You can still do the job. They should not be paid the same.
Yeah, bring back the Women's Army Corps. Whack.
Because, yeah, well, they should not be paid the same because the argument was always equal work for equal pay. You can't get, and yeah, equal work for equal pay is a joke. They're not doing equal work. They're not physically capable of doing equal work. So that category of soldiers who can't do the mission, can't operate the technical equipment. You know what? Cool. You're a 92 Alpha that can't be trusted with a firearm. You're not paid the same as an active duty soldier because you are not the same as an active duty soldier. You're an office monkey, be an office monkey. That's fine. Essentially what I'm arguing is that the military services should all essentially have a combat arms and an administrative arm. And because they're not the same. And part of the theory is, I know Pitt Danny knows this. The Marine Corps does things just a little bit different than everybody else. When you graduate basic training in the Marine Corps, you are an infantry Marine, and then you get an MOS. You get a follow-on MOS. In the Army, it's different. Infantry is its own MOS, 11 Bravo, and we do OSIT training, one-stop unit training for infantry. So when they finish basic training, they go to a longer basic training than most of the other non-combat arms. Like Mario and I, even though we did combat and I did combat operations, we were not combat arms soldiers. We were a different category. So we went to basic, and was it 9 weeks?
Yeah, 9 weeks.
Yeah, and then we went to AIT, Advanced Individual Training, for our Army job.
Yeah, then we should go to advanced combat training. There's basic combat training, which everyone does, and then there's advanced combat training, which is basically the A school for the infantry.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, well, there's combat arms. Okay, then there's direct support.
I'm gonna go get coffee while you tell this.
Direct support MOSs. And then whoopsie.
I just about walked away and left you with an empty screen.
Yep, it's fine. So there's combat arms. There's direct support MOS. So the point of every job in the Army, the point of that job is intended in one way or another. You are either on you are either firing at the enemy, okay, or you are supposed to be supporting the individual who is firing at the enemy. Okay, so combat arms, that's going to be your infantry, tanker, okay, cavalry, etc. Right, and then there's direct support, which are the individuals, the MOSs that basically directly support the individual, the trigger puller, right? Military intelligence does qualify as that because we are giving intelligence directly to the individual warfighter so that he can complete the mission. Okay. And then there's indirect support, which are the MOSs that are kind of in the background with the gear, so to speak. Okay, like 92 series supply,
In the rear with the gear.
42 series or 42 series, which is admin. Okay, that would be
Right.
indirect support. This individual, Sergeant Radford, he was 92 series, so he's supply. All right, which is and if it's not racist to say it, but I mean, anyone who's been in the Army knows that 42 admin and 92 supply, okay, series are going to be like the blackest, some of the blackest MOSs, okay,
Yes.
in the United States Army, and I'm sure it's the same in the Marines and Air Force, etc. Okay, that's just one of those ones that they gravitate to. Same with Signal Corps. I never really understood that one, but they're all about it. Okay. All right. So Sergeant Cornelius Radford, Cornelius with a Q, I might add. He before shooting, he actually got a DUI last month. Okay, and he was subject to go to court on August 20th. Okay, to basically answer for his DUI. So that may have been one of the attenuating reasons why basically he snapped. The Army's got a real hard on for fucking DUIs. Okay, ask me how I know, but
Hey Mario, how do you know?
because I played that game and I lost. Okay, so yeah, real hard on, and I think it probably has to do with the fact that it's a really convenient way to get rid of people if they're trying to force downsize. Okay, if they're trying to downsize the force, then they'll go looking for lifestyle reasons. Okay, to give you the boot.
Yeah.
And a DUI is one. It's just an easy one. It's an easy one. You know what I mean? And they can use that as a reason to discharge you. So.
There is a joke that you can't make sergeant major unless you've got two DUIs and the right kind of ring.
Yeah. Right. Oh, a Mason.
Yeah.
Yep. And at least one sexual assault claim against you. Yeah, that was the culture that was kind of dying out when we joined the Army. Okay. And it was
a culture that was being slowly rear naked choked out.
Yep. With the advent of Obama, we had the newer do ask and do tell Army. Okay, and we
could do a deep dive on the harm that the Obama administration did to American military readiness.
He did permanent damage. Okay. It cannot be fixed. It would be a generational effort to fix what the Obama administration did to the military. A generational effort. Because
it is the kind of harm that no intelligent, rational person can look at. If we go down the line and describe, policies where we weren't allowed to return fire. We weren't allowed to return fire on the enemy when they were actively firing at us if they were within a certain proximity of fruit-bearing plants, right? The Obama administration, it's the kind of shit, if you look at it with a rational mind, you cannot intelligently claim Obama was not actively working against the interests of the American people. Obama's policies and changes on military operation read like a fucking wet dream wish list for the KGB or the CCP on how do we degrade the military readiness and operational tempo of the United States military. Oh, we do what Obama does it. We do what Obama wants.
You destroyed a kumquat tree. That's a war crime, son.
Because of the equipment, you know the kind of shit that I had to wear on my back while I was down there.
Yeah.
Because of the value, both monetary and tactical value of the equipment that I carried as part of my mission, I had special dispensation on rules of engagement. The Bang Bangs love to roll out with the meat wall because my equipment was more important than Obama's fruit trees.
Mhm.
We would burn motherfucking cities to the ground.
Yeah. Did you have the full wolf pack get up with the
Yeah.
with the omnidirectional fucking yeah? Okay.
Oh,
Shoot me! Shoot me! Look at me! Shoot me!
I was not a fan of the shoot me flag, so I engineered a replacement that I took an old med pack
Yeah.
and I built a replacement for the shoot me flag. I threw that piece of shit away and I mounted a directional antenna here so that it looked like it was part of the body armor. That dramatically increased my survival chance.
Yeah. Yep.
Some of our other guys built replacements out of Pringles cans, just mounted them on their rifles so that it looked like an M203.
Nice. Once you pop, you can't stop. Yep. So yeah, looks like this guy looks like Cornelius Corn spelled like he's isn't that like
Corn
the demon god of wrath from like Warhammer 40K? Corn.
Yeah.
So
I wonder
anyway,
if Cornelius spelled with a Q was Corn Pop's actual first name.
it might be son of
You
Corn
know,
Pop.
Corn Pop was bad dude.
He probably son of Corn Pop is probably who this guy is. You can post the image of him if you want. I mean, he looks like kind of what you'd expect. Darkness. But yeah, he was put down almost immediately, and I don't know. I don't think.
He's alive. He was detained by other soldiers.
Yeah, that's right.
They rolled him up.
He's got he. You can clearly tell he's extremely low IQ. Okay, just by looking at his face, the eyes don't lie. Also, looks like probably maybe some fetal alcohol syndrome going on there. Those eyes are really close
Yeah.
together. This is what Sergeant Major would call a Class B recruit. Okay, that was not a like a. No, there were no high fives at the recruiter's office when that guy got
Right.
signed. It was just fuck. I hope they can figure him out.
Guaranteed 3 waivers.
Yeah, at least probably a criminal one, I suspect.
There was a criminal background check waiver. There was a PT waiver, and there was probably a financial risk waiver.
Yep. Financial risk waiver. He spends the money the moment he gets it. This will be a problem one day.
Hook booja, baby.
Yep. But yeah, we actually had some good comments here. We've been rude today at ignoring them.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. So go back a little bit. Pit Danny.
Can you post up comments yet?
I cannot. No. All right. Pit Danny talks about Ninth Ring of Hell for insider threat, traitors. Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one where you actually spend the rest of eternity in the devil's mouth.
Yeah, correct. That's right. Being actively chewed for eternity. And then Sergeant Major, or your mom says that your dad's out there trying to kill a beaver apparently in the pond. Okay. When will his bloodlust be sated? Okay.
Never. The pond is a constant source for helping to assuage the Sergeant Major's bloodlust. He sits on the back porch and kills deer at like 350 meters across that thing with his 300 Win Mag and a cup of coffee. And then the pond, you get turtles, So you get beavers that cause a problem if the pond, if the water flow in the pond isn't correct, then there's going to be problems. And right now that pond is slap full because we got like 12 inches of rain over 2 days, just in the
Yep.
last couple days. And so you haven't been to the farm yet, Mario. You gotta see the farm. I'd love for you to bring your dad up here and just have some whiskey and sit there and bask in the glory of it.
Yeah, I would. I'm sure I would enjoy it.
Throw him in the truck. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep. So
about an 8-hour drive.
yeah, it's Aaron Olson makes the obvious joke about you shouldn't be wearing Sig P320 pistols. All right. Anarchy TV asks.
Sergeant Major says this beaver is a tough SOB.
Anarchy asks, aren't they offering citizenship if they join the military to illegals? I've heard about that. I don't think that ever became codified.
Okay, there are programs. There are programs for that. They're not as prolific as the news might have you believe. It's not a straightforward, hey, I'm a foreigner and I'd like to be a U.S. citizen. Put me in boots. That's not how it works. There are some paths you need and I'm not an expert on this, but if I understand it correctly, you need to already be legally present here in some other capacity, like you're here on a U.S. work visa, or you're a green card holder, or something of the sort. And that's something that the sergeant major could probably speak to.
Yeah.
Mom, is he not even watching the show this morning?
Really, he dips in and out. Okay.
Yeah. Pit Danny asks, what is the firearm of choice for beaver? Pit Danny, there's a good chance that the old man's got 4 or 5 just leaned up against the railing and is experimenting.
5.56 223 would be optimal. Optimum.
Yeah.
It'll kill him right dead. Okay, and it's extremely accurate. As Fab waiver from Be Controversial. Yep, seen that. I have no doubt. Okay. Pit Danny mentions about DUI, and you get to go to trial 2 times, military and civilian. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. The military doesn't give a fuck about double jeopardy. Okay, you will be trying to, you're going to get fucked up on the civilian side, and then we're going to fuck you up after you're done with that. Army does not care about double jeopardy. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a tough one. So Mario, I need to go ahead and start wrapping up because I got to get on the road momentarily. I want to touch this real quick, and this is something I think we'll end up talking about again before this is going to come up in another context. I hate to even broach it this late in the show because I don't have time to hang out. Oh, hey, real quick. Okay, Sergeant Major said, yes, this is Dad. The Army has a program for non-citizens who are present legally. The program is on hold. So the program exists. It's not currently taking new subscribers. Got it.
Why not?
Because we're talking about the wake of a mass shooting, or not. I don't know if you call this a mass shooting. I guess it technically qualifies. You got 5 injured. Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen this article or seen anything about this? Jim Acosta interviews AI-generated avatar of deceased Parkland teen promoting gun control message.
There's like 3 layers of cringe there in the title already. I wouldn't read it. Okay, it's too weaponized cringe. I can't do it.
Weaponized cringe is a great phrase. Here's the one I want you to think of, right? And we're gonna end up doing a whole show on this. Might be worth one of the specials. Because this isn't just okay. So Jim Acosta doing this is absolute cringe. But there are AI businesses now that are offering things like creating an AI digital avatar of your dead loved ones so that you can communicate with. Let's call this what it is. This is digital necromancy.
Yeah, they're summoning a dead person and
Yeah.
literally summoning a dead person to use it as a straw man. Yeah, it's shameful in ways that shouldn't even be possible. Okay,
Yeah.
but
This is Acosta should be burned at the stake as a witch for this shit. Like I said, digital fucking necromancy.
yep, yeah, I agree.
So, unfortunately, I don't have time to get into that. I wanted to talk about that a little more, but we've gone an hour this morning, and I need to go ahead and wrap this one up.
That's like what was that? Edwards, the Democrat nominee, or he was in the primary to be the Democrat candidate in 2004. Okay, last name was Edwards. Okay, he was a lawyer, and that one of the scandals was they had found like some of his oral arguments as a defense lawyer. Okay, and he was in court effectively summoning like I can hear the victims now calling out from the grave seeking justice. Okay, like the most sophomoric freaking like Carnival Barker style advocacy. Okay, like legal advocacy, right? That's similar to that's what Acosta is doing.
Gotcha. Okay.
I struggled to get that one out. Okay, probably should.
Gotcha. So I want to wrap up real quick, but I'm going to throw a quick spot in here. Quick pause to tell you. Hang on, I got to hit the button first and let the thing get up on the screen. Okay, so quick pause to tell you about Pickaxe. Creator and user-first platform built for people, not algorithms. You know what big tech is up to: data mining, bot-driven feeds, black box AI, deciding who sees your work. Instead, Pickaxe hands you an algorithm-free, chronological feed with native Rumble playback, auto-publishing of your live streams, free blue check verification, and full monetization control. Your voice, your rules. Best of all, the web version is live right now, and their iOS and Android apps drop next month. On Pickaxe, your Rumble videos play seamlessly right in your feed as if they were built into the platform. No embeds, no workarounds, just smooth native playback. Even better, in beta now, creators can connect their Rumble channel to Pickaxe to automatically post live streams and videos so your followers never miss a moment. You can also write full articles directly on Pickaxe today, and later this year, you'll be able to blast them out as email newsletters with one click and build up your own email list for direct audience access. Monetize on your terms through paywalls, revenue sharing, or affiliate ads that auto-insert promo codes and tracking links. And because bots shouldn't steal your spotlight, Pickaxe hands you a free blue check so everyone knows it's really you. Pickaxe is building tech that builds up humanity, algorithm-free, noise-free, human-first. Head to pickaxe.com, sign up, and take your platform to the next level. Real voices deserve a real home. So, I just got paid to read y'all that spot, and we have to do 5 of those per month now as part of the creator program. But that program right there, pickaxe.com, I am definitely going to be checking that out and putting the Brushfire Mind on there, just like all the other platforms we're already on, because you cannot get the message out far and fast enough. So guys, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, share, right? Take a minute, think of somebody who you think needs to see this episode, who needs to watch this show, who needs to watch this channel, and send them a link to the show, and encourage them also to keep following us, because we're on a steady growth arc, and it's good for us. The more people watch, the more funding we get, the less we have to do other work, the more we can produce this good content for you guys. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in it. Thanks for watching this morning, guys. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.
Ciao.
All right, brothers. Man, I got to go shoot a Matterport. Matterports are
You did a first
overpriced bullshit that these agents like and they take forever. Pain in the ass.